I'm Hayden with RE/MAX of Boulder. I'm a seniors real estate specialist, and my guest today is Terry Bossle, who is an Eldercare advisor and owner of Assisted Living Locators. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you, Gene.
Let's start by having you tell us what Assisted Living Locators is and a bit about the services you offer.
Yeah, Assisted Living Locators is a no-cost referral agency where we assist seniors and their families in looking at independent living, assisted living, and memory care housing options based upon their financial needs, care needs, and location preferences. We help cut through all the noise that's out there. We look at each community as it fits in with the seniors' requirements.
So who would you say is your ideal client, and why is your job so important?
Our target market for Assisted Living Locators would be seniors who are 65 years or over and their family members who are typically between 45 and 65. The average age for someone to go into assisted living is 86 years old, and 74% of the individuals are female. Why this business is so important is that the market for assisted living placements is continuing to grow. For example, in Boulder County alone, the projection for people 65 and over in 2018 will be 87,000.
And then what do you actually do if you and I were to meet and I'm a potential user of your services?
Yeah.
What would we talk about?
Yeah, so if you were to contact me for yourself or for your loved one, we have a very in-depth questionnaire. I would also want to know any other family members that would be engaged in the decision-making process, because I would want to make sure that they're engaged as well. And after that's done, then I'm going to go to my database of communities that I work with and see what fits you. And then I'm going to reach out to them. And I'm going to call and I'm going to make sure that there's space available, because we'd hate to go and tour someplace and they have a 2-year wait list and you're ready to go in 3 months.
Okay.
So I'm going to contact them to see if there's availability, and then if so, I'm going to arrange a tour. And so where we're very hands-on, I will tour the community with you and your loved one, and the tour will be directed by the person at the community, but I'm there to give guidance and to sort of probe and ask any questions that you may not think of or that might not come up. And then the final stage is that after you or your loved one actually moves into the community, I'm going to follow up and I'm going to make sure that everyone is still happy and that it is the right fit, because we don't want to put someone, it's a very challenging decision to make that move, and so we want to make sure that it's a good fit for you.
Well, there are so many options available for seniors today and growing. What can you tell us about the different types of services, housing services that are available that you work with?
Yeah, in general, the different types of senior housing that are available are assisted living homes. And assisted living homes are smaller communities that are they are a home environment, and they typically range from 6 to 10 beds in the home. They do provide meals, laundry services, bathing. They do some medication management, transportation, and some limited activities. And then we would move into the larger communities, such as independent living. And an ideal person for independent living would be someone that's just tired of maintenance on their home. So you don't want to mow the grass anymore, shovel snow, want to have all those bills combined into one number. And they typically don't need any medical care or limited medical care. They can prepare their own meals. In those types of housing, there will be kitchens, but they also might like to have meals prepared and eat with more communal eating. They also have daily activities and group outings. And then there's assisted living, and assisted living is similar to the assisted living homes, but they're just in a larger community. They provide a wider range of activities, meal selection, and medical care. And then lastly, we have memory care. They provide a secure environment that's specifically designed for people with Alzheimer's, other forms of dementia, and any other form of memory loss. The daily activities that are there are helped to stimulate their memories and their senses.
I'm surprised at how small some of the facilities are that you were describing.
Yes.
Most of us think of much larger environments than that.
Exactly. And some people don't really want to move into that larger environment. They like that more tranquil home type environment where they're smaller. They know that their owner managed, so there's someone that lives there with them 24/7. And they like that environment better than living in a larger community.
My mother might have even gone for something like that because she was just determined not to go into the traditional nursing home.
Well, and what we provide is so different from the traditional nursing homes. As a child, I volunteered with a nursing home in my town, and you think of them as far more clinical,
Yes.
and these are not. These are like living, in your home. You still have your dignity and activities and things that you like to do on your own, but yet there's someone there 24/7 watching over you.
More specifically, and to elaborate what you were just saying, tell us about the housing communities you work with and the kinds of amenities and lifestyles they offer.
The types of communities that I work with range from the smaller assisted living homes to the larger communities. And in some of the larger communities, they may be designated only as independent living. So if someone is fine with moving so their level of care would progress and they are okay with moving to a new community, then this would be the ideal place for them. Some communities only provide assisted living with some memory care issues under some circumstances. So, for example, no wandering, no behavioral issues, and they can stay and treat that. And then the larger communities can offer all three. So you can age in place and sort of go through from independent living to assisted living to memory care. And the activities that are provided, as I said, I kind of like to move into some of these. Basic things are 3 meals a day, laundry, housekeeping, trash removal, scheduled transportation, robust daily activities. There's common areas for socializing. They have emergency call response where they wear, something around their neck. So in the event they fall or need assistance, they can push that button and someone will come to their aid. And they have salons and spas, so you can get your hair done, a massage, get your nails done. And what I love is that the majority of the communities are pet friendly. So typically, as long as you can still take care of your animal, they're welcome to come join you. And then daily activities can include painting classes. They have book clubs because there's full libraries that are there. Exercise classes. There's always puzzles in different corners of the room, that you can sit and put together. They do nightly movies and they'll have people come in and give lectures. And then there's also religious services that they can bring in for those people, in assisted living that aren't able to go out to their place of worship.
When should seniors and their families start thinking about this sort of transition?
It's never too soon to think about the transition, but the time frames will vary depending on the circumstances. But on average, the people tend to start looking 6 months before they move.
What are some of the signs that people should watch for?
Yeah, it's best to start the conversation, either the senior or their family member, prior to a medical issue arising. The senior and their family member should be aware of the environment that they're living in, how easily they're able to complete their activities of daily living on their own, and ask themselves, is it safe to stay in the home on my own? Some things that you should consider or look for are bathing, eating, dressing. Are they mobile? How mobile are they? Are they at a fall risk? How do they need to have their meals prepared for them? Were they recently in the hospital? And then also incontinence issues.
Okay. And probably also, are they taking any needed medications on their own reliably?
Right. And yes, and so does someone need to sort of monitor that for them?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's the shortest amount of time you would recommend for people who are thinking about or should think about moving into a community like this?
Well, I think, again, it depends upon the circumstances. So if there's a dire need for someone to move, say they're coming out of the hospital or rehab and they're not able to move into their home because of safety issues or medical issues, we can make that move in 24 hours. So after I'm contacted, go through my initial profile, contact the community, have the community, the case nurse manager work with them, and barring any unforeseen circumstances, they can typically move in within 24 hours. But not everyone is in that situation, so I mean, we can do it in as little as, a couple weeks. If someone just really has, the interest in moving, it's really under their time frame. There's really, there's no rush.
If they're being proactive instead of reactive.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. The big question that people who are watching may be asking is, how much does this service cost?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm asked that a lot. So we're a no-cost referral agency.
What?
I know, it's great. So
how can that work?
So how I am remitted or paid is I contract with the communities, and I receive a portion of the first month's rent that the person pays when they move in. However, there is no, the community is not allowed to charge an increased fee for working with a placement agency, so there is no added costs for you to work with me versus going out and doing it on your own. So the benefit to you is that, again, I cut through the noise. I'm looking to see what fits for you, but the cost is the same to you, and there's no charge to use my services.
Okay, no increase in cost from the community.
Correct.
And free to the consumer.
That's correct.
That's a plan.
Yeah.
What geographical area do you cover?
Yeah, my geographic area is Boulder County, as well as Broomfield, Westminster, and Brighton.
I'd like to know a little bit about you and your background and what led you to this line of work.
I moved to Boulder, or to Colorado, about 4 years ago from Bermuda.
Good choice.
Yes, I love it. So I live in Denver currently, and so what brought me to this? So that's a great question. I after working in the corporate world for almost 30 years, I decided that I was ready for a change, and I needed to do something that I felt was a benefit of people and made me feel good about what I was doing. And as a broker, my job was to problem solve and to connect people. And in the placement service business, that's what we do. Someone has a problem, and I'm bringing solutions to solve that problem, as well as connecting them, to the community. As I mentioned earlier, I was raised by my grandmother. She lived to be 89 years old. We had a very wonderful and close relationship. She was able to stay in her own home, but she had close, friends and community, that she had around her that made it possible for her to do that. And then I also saw friends who went through this with their parents and trying to place them and everything that they went to. And I thought there has to be something out there to help people. And again, with the growing need with the senior population, I just felt this was the great time to get started.
We imagine that people who are watching this will want to know how to get in touch with you with their questions or to find out how to avail them of your services. How would you like them to do that?
I can be reached via email at terryb@assistedlivinglocators.com, or you can phone me at 877-223-1426, or you can check out my website, which is boulder.assistedlivinglocators.com.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.